Can you imagine what it is like having to be beaten and raped into a gang at the age of 10? Good evening. My name is Jessica Linville, and tonight I'll be discussing an often overlooked but a growing factor that is affecting the internal security of the United States: female inner-city gangs. As a female veteran who grew up in Fresno and San Diego, California, I have personal knowledge of the issues facing both the United States and the daily life of inner-city gangs. This is also a topic of much interest to me as I work in a police department, and I have plans to use my degree in this field of study. It is my desire to show how this issue is one that has been neglected for far too long, and why it is in need of directed energy and focus by professionals in both law enforcement and criminology. If we don't take steps now to understand the impact of factors that cause young adolescent females to enter into gangs, then the number of females in gangs will continue to rise. I'll be discussing why additional research is needed on the factors that contribute to females joining gangs, why studying sexual victimization and exploitation of female gang members is relevant, how economic conditions influence female gangs, and the life-altering consequences of female gang members. I'll begin by telling you why additional research is needed on the factors that contribute to females joining gangs. The few studies done on female inner-city gangs show that friendship, solidarity, self-affirmation, and a sense of new possibilities were motivating young inner-city females to join and remain in gangs. These groups of female inner-city gangs do not achieve the notoriety of the more prominent male-dominated gangs. However, it is estimated by criminologist Baker and Martin that females account for 10% of all gang members within the United States. One might think that this is a relatively low number and doesn't warrant much concern due to the relatively low margin when compared to male gang members, but over 66% of females surveyed who were in gangs admitted to committing a violent crime, compared to the 11% of females not in a gang. Females who are involved in gangs are much more likely to commit a violent crime than females not in a gang. This fact alone and the historical evidence that researchers and law enforcement have not studied or developed plans to counter the increasing rise of females entering into gangs makes this a topic worthy of discussion and further research. As you can see, much more research is needed to understand what the other factors are that contribute to females joining gangs. Moving on. There is one aspect of female gang life that does not seem to be changing: sexual exploitation and victimization. Choosing the gang is a refuge for young women who have been victimized at home. The available research consistently shows that a high proportion of female gang members have experienced sexual abuse at home. In Los Angeles, for example, 29% of a large representative sample of Mexican American female gang members had sexually abused at the home, and their homes were more likely than those of male gang members to include drug users and persons arrested for crimes. An additional study found that almost 2/3 of female gang members interviewed in Hawaii had also been sexually abused at home. Many had run away and joined gangs to obtain protection from abusive families. This places females in a high concern area for being vulnerable to sexual exploitation. Being a sex object was one of the early stereotypes of female gang members, and the interest in the sex lives of female gang members still persists. Early reporting about the easy sexual availability of female gang members came almost exclusively from male gang members. Even some recent reports present similar perceptions as fact, with no attempt at verification. However, male gang members may be indulging their own fantasies. In a recent study, male gang members told researchers that group sex was an initiation ritual for female gang members, but female gang members dismissed that idea as ludicrous. In Los Angeles, a large random sample of male and female Mexican American gang members were asked about the role of women in the gang. Half of the male members claimed they were possessions, and this response not only referred to the female's sexual exploitation, but it also showed the males generally to be in charge. The other half of male members felt that female members were respected and treated as family. 2/3 of the female members vehemently denied that they were treated like possessions. Next, I will be discussing how economic conditions influence female gangs. Studies have shown that gang formation for both male and females is related to deteriorating inner-city economic conditions. However, no research has been conducted in the many cities where economic conditions improved during the 1990s to determine whether there has been a corresponding decline in gang formation or in the persistence of gang membership into adulthood. So, economic conditions influence male and female gangs alike, but a related issue that applies specifically to women is how welfare reform and the elimination of the Aid to Families with Dependent Children program has affected female gang formation and gang persistence. Regardless of cultural context, there is one constant in the later life of most female gang members. Most of them have children. Most male gang members also have children, but the consequences are greater for females. When male gang members in Los Angeles were asked about major turning points in their teens and 20s, they usually talked about the gang, drugs, or arrests. By contrast, females refer to motherhood and marriage. Although most males abandoned responsibility for their children, most females did rear their own children, as discussed by Martin Moore. Joining a gang has life-altering consequences for females. Although joining a gang is only an adolescent episode for some females, for others it is a turning point and a gateway to a life offering very little chance for a socially acceptable career. Researchers are divided in their assessment of gang membership for females, some arguing that it is liberating and some that says it causes social injury. Other authors studying Mexican American gangs in Los Angeles implied that once a female leaves a gang, the gang's influence on her life ends, but others disagree. Most African American female gang members in Milwaukee regarded their gang involvement as an adolescent episode. But for Mexican Americans in Los Angeles, gang membership had long-term consequences. In Los Angeles, Mexican Americans who joined a gang were likely to be from families that were already stigmatized by conventional community residents. Joining a gang and wearing its conspicuous clothes further labeled them as unacceptable to the wider community. Many had joined the gang to escape from abusive families, but gang membership actually constricted their futures. Membership virtually ruled out marrying non-gang mates. Most female gang members married male gang members whose careers often involved repeated imprisonments. This leads to a never-ending cycle from which to escape a better life is virtually impossible with outside assistance. Now I'm going to be showing you a video that shows a quick day in the life of a female gangbanger. As you can see, there's beating, shooting, arrest, and it takes them down a terrible, life-changing path. So in conclusion, many aspects of female gang functioning and the lives of female gang members remain a mystery because relatively few researchers have considered female gangs worthy of study. In addition, researchers face serious obstacles to even study female gangs, and because of these obstacles, they often settle for unrepresentative samples. Gangs are highly suspicious of researchers and cooperate with them only under very unusual circumstances. Female gang members in particular have been adverse to talking about sexual abuse, whether it occurred at home or within the gang. These researchers contact gang members through community agencies, probation and parole offices, and incarceration facilities. But each of these strategies entails unknowable biases in sampling. Unfortunately, female gangs have received little pragmatic intention, and this is where the issue lies. The Family and Youth Services Bureau of the United States Department of Health and Human Services had a program that explicitly addressed female gang members, but the program ended after only 3 years. So I discussed why additional research is needed on the factors that contribute to females joining gangs, why studying sexual victimization and exploitation of female gang members is relevant, how economic conditions influence female gangs, and the life-altering consequences of female gang membership. You now understand why it is relevant to study female inner-city gangs in order to determine what type of programs need to be designed to keep adolescent females out of gangs, and also what programs need to be designed designed to intervene with or provide safe havens for female gang members once they are active in and transitioning out of the gangs. Additional research that provides a better understanding of why females join gangs will help communities develop prevention programs to deter female gang membership. If we do not, the rate of female gang members will continue to rise, and this problem will not go away until we learn more and dedicate the resources needed to counter the rise of females entering into these gangs. Thank you.